In World of Warcraft, a game that I loved, the most historic expansion was Wrath of the Lich King, notable for the introduction of the chilling Death Knights, the undead generals of the Scourge, an undead army. And today we are going to learn how to build one of those in 5th edition. Now, there do have to be some trade-offs because in World of Warcraft, Death Knights were amazing. They had this incredible spells. They could heal themselves almost as much as the enemy could put out damage. They could cover themselves in amazing frost armor or summon armies of undead minions to join them on the battlefield. All that, plus they were very reasonable melee fighters who had heavy plate mail armor and dealt incredible damage with their rune blades. In D&D, a little bit more balanced than that. So we are going to get a little sampling of each of these elements as we talk about the Death Knight.
And I know you will show restraint when exercising your great power.
We are going to need a high strength score because we are a melee character. We're going to be wearing plate mail armor eventually, and we are going to be using probably a longsword or a great axe, one of these big two-handed weapons. There is a perfect race for this build because in World of Warcraft, all the different Death Knights were once in life, different races, different peoples. They were killed and raised all into the same army where they ceased to perceive, how their lives were before. They had become all a part of the same species, the Reborn. You're also going to want to prioritize your charisma. Try and keep your strength and charisma as high as they can go. And we are going to end up taking our first level in Paladin. This might seem odd, but certainly the Paladin brings the mechanical benefits to the table that we're looking for. A strong melee fighter with some decent spellcasting and a kind of battlefield general presence supporting allies in the melee. As a side note, your Divine Sense sensing undead is now particularly poetic. At second level, we'll get our fighting style and our Divine Smite feature. For fighting style, maybe depends on what type of Death Knight you want to be. Obviously, in WoW, there were different specializations. You could do more of a tanky build with the blood and frost DKs, or you could be a little more damage focused with the undead. Maybe if you are going more of a protector role, you could choose the protection fighting style or the defensive fighting style. If you're going for pure damage, I'd recommend the great weapon fighting. Here is also where we're going to get our spellcasting. Just at level 2, I'm only going to recommend some basic spells. We aren't yet going to get access to the sort of like evil magics that we are looking for. So maybe grab Command to command people around, and then Compel Duel, which is going to help you to kind of be that frontliner. If they fail the saving throw, they must attack you. And so there's a kind of this excellent ability to draw the enemy in to you on the battlefield. At third level, we are going to choose our oath. Now, in life, maybe we had an oath to a god, or we had an oath to our country, an oath of devotion to our fellow creature. But now, in Undeath, we are compelled to turn against all of that and be an oath breaker. Now, an oath breaker is going to be a subclass that gives us lots of goodies that we love as an undead Death Knight. Here at third level, we're getting 2 channel divinity options. First one, control undead. Basically, if the undead fails a saving throw, they serve you now for 24 hours, which is a really long duration and a really great way of being like, I am the general of the Scourge, you report to me now, building up your army. Your other channel divinity option is going to be Dreadful Aspect, which is going to basically just throw out a saving throw, everyone within 30 feet, or they are frightened of you for 1 minute, which is excellent with the kind of intimidating presence that we'd like to exude as a Death Knight. We're also getting some new spells. Hellish Rebuke, which is probably what a lot of your reactions are going to go to now. Much better damage even than an attack of opportunity. But we're also getting Inflict Wounds, which does some great necrotic damage if you can get the spell attack off. At 4th level, we're just going to boost our strength to continue being a strong melee fighter. And then at 5th level, we are going to get our extra attack to really follow up on that. We're also getting our 2nd level spells here. Your oath is going to provide Crown of Madness, which is going to charm someone and make them attack someone that you designate if they fail the saving throw. And then you're also going to get Darkness from this oath, which is fun if situational and not super thematic. I'm going to recommend that you also pick up Find Steed so you can get that skeletal, bony horse that you've always been looking for, and maybe Aid to spread some of that blood magic around and bolster your allies. That takes us to 6th level where we're getting Aura of Protection. Now all allies around you are going to add your Charisma modifier to their saving throws, and everyone will love you for being there. At 7th level, we are getting the feature that cemented this subclass as my desired Death Knight, which is the Aura of Hate. This is going to boost any fiends or undead within 30 feet of you, giving them a bonus to their damage equal to your charisma modifier. So it's saving throws for allies and damage for undead minions. Level 8, we are going to capitalize on those two features by boosting our charisma here, increasing that number that we are adding on to everyone's saving throw and to our undead minions' damage. Now at level 9, we can finally pick up Animate Dead to summon undead minions to our aid. They're going to benefit from your Aura of Hate and be doing great damage and serve as useful distractions so that your allies aren't being attacked as often. I think this is really the role you play, is being up in the melee with your undead minions, kind of creating a problem for the enemy. So now they have to deal with you, and you in your plate mail armor are very difficult to deal with. We could, here at level 10, take our next level of Paladin, but the Aura of Courage is a little lackluster. It's only going to make us and people near us immune to the frightened condition. Most of the time, we are going to be up in the melee with our undead buddies, and they are usually immune to the frightened condition already. So, not doing a lot. So I think it's at this point that whatever undead general you serve, be it the Lich King or one of his lieutenants, has seen fit to grant you a promotion with a warlock level. We are, of course, going to be choosing the Undead Patron from Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, which is going to give us a couple of neat features. First of all, we are going to get our Pact Magic, of course, 2 first-level spell slots that reset on a short rest that we can use for that House Rebuke. Or we can grab the new spells Bane and False Life. I'm also going to recommend grabbing the Armor of Agatha spell off the Warlock spell list and casting it with your Paladin levels to live your best Frost DK life. At the beginning of combat, you're probably going to want to use Form of Dread, which is the new feature that this Warlock patron gives us. A bonus action, we can transform for 1 minute, gaining a certain number of temporary hit points. Once on each of our turns when we hit an enemy with our weapon, which we are going to be doing, we can cause them to make a saving throw or be frightened. We are also going to gain immunity to the frightened condition. Take that, Aura of Courage. Pretty much every combat, we are able to take our bonus action to enter the Form of Dread. We're running into battle. We are fearing people with our weapon attacks and with our channeled divinities, having undead servants join us on the battlefield, taking the hits so that your allies don't have to, benefiting from your Aura of Hate and from your bonus to their saving throws. But what if you were playing at a higher level, like a much higher level? What if you were way, way up in the tier 3 of play, and you wanted to play a character that was more than just a lieutenant in the army of the undead? You wanted to play the general himself, the Lich King. Here's how I'd go about that. The truth of the matter is, a lot of what makes this character impressive is a high spellcasting requirement. There are some amazing high-level frost spells and summoning undead spells, and even Enervation, a great necromancy spell that heals you for damage dealt. But all of these are going to require heavy investment in a full spellcaster. You're really not going to get there with one of these half-casters. But that's going to make us a little weak on the melee front. So my proposed solution is this. We take some fighter levels to give ourselves some martial capacity. It's tempting to go Rune Knight because, of course, then you would get runes on your blade, and it would be a rune blade, and that's like what Death Knights have. The truth of the matter is the actual abilities of the runes don't mesh that well with the Death Knight fighting style, and it's a lot of levels to take for just what is essentially name recognition, like word association. Instead, I'm going to take the Eldritch Knight subclass, which is going to allow our fighter levels to count towards our spell slot progression at a rate of 1/3. So we want to take some even 3s. We get that right at level 3, so we could dip back to a full caster. I want extra attack so that I can be even better in the melee. So we're going to go all the way Fighter 6 with Eldritch Knight. This is going to give us an enhancement on our weapon it's going to become bonded to us so that we can't be disarmed from it. I don't see any reason why you can't flavor that as covering it in runes and making it your rune blade. That also means you're getting a feat at 4th and 6th level to start boosting both your strength and your intelligence, which is what we're going to need for wizard levels. Our wizard levels are going to get us some amazing spells. I probably won't go through all of them, but maybe I'll do a little spell progression thing here. And you can see the incredible stuff we're going to get that makes you feel like a Death Knight. The power of Frost, the necrotic damage of our blood magic, all of that undead summoning potential. At higher levels of wizard, we are going to get a bonus to our undead equal to our wizard level, which is why we're going to invest so much in this class. And they're also going to add our proficiency bonus onto to their attack rolls, which is great because if we're a high level character, that's going to be a high proficiency bonus. As you get way higher in wizard levels, you're going to get resistance to necrotic damage, which is, I guess, helpful. Finally, at 14th level, when we are a 20th level character, we are going to get command undead. This is a lot like the Conquest Paladin's channel divinity that kind of converts an undead for 24 hours. But if they fail our saving throw, they are ours permanently. So we are going to be getting ourselves a recruit to the army full time, and it doesn't matter, who else summoned this creature or whatever else it was doing. This cements us as the commander of undead. We are the master of undeath. All undead will ultimately bow to you. I think this character would be absolutely incredible to play in a high level one shot, and I really hope it feels exactly like the powerful Lich King that we all know and love. I will put character sheets both for the Death Knight levels 1, 3, and 10, and for our Lich King, a 20th level version of the character, obviously taking some different class choices. If you know you're going to go to a high level, I recommend following that second progression. Thanks so much, guys. If you want to see those character sheets, you can grab them on my Patreon. That's the best way to play this build at your table. Hope you enjoyed the build this week, and I'll see you next week.